Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. In this video today, we're going to be talking about TSM once again. Kind of an interesting and weird video to make, but also kind of a funny one as well. And it's definitely why I want to get this info out there. Obviously, tons of people are throwing around hot takes and opinions and all this stuff regarding TSM's roster, their future, the moves they're making, all this stuff. So I wanted to go over some of the things that Papa Smithy has said recently about the team and about the organization. But first, a word from today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. It is a website and app that is just really cool. They do League of Legends, esports, LCS, LEC, MSI. They're doing EU Masters right now, which is really cool. You just pick your favorite stars, choose your over-under, and watch your players win. Some of the picks I'm looking at making for tomorrow, at least when I'm recording this video, is we have K-Corp against Vitality B coming up, and I'm looking at 113, over 8.5 kills in the first 3 matches, and Seiken over 10.5 kills in the first 3 matches. I think both those numbers are just a little bit too low, but we'll have to see how that one goes. But if you guys want to make some picks of your own, check out the first link in the description below, and PrizePicks will match your first deposit for new users up to $100. That's an awesome deal. Thank you so much to PrizePicks for supporting me. I hope you guys will go check them out and support them. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So this is what I wanted to talk about. This was posted on the TSM subreddit. This was somebody tweeted it out at me. I had tweeted it as well. When the guy tweeted it out at me, he was like, hey, sorry, man, I'm not going to be giving you any further context. And it's just, that is a banger. That is funny. They're taking this context meme and running with it, but it actually got some new legs today, which is a little bit funny. So the TSM subreddit, they say Papa's thoughts on Maple and Mia signings. And this is Papa Smithy from Discord. I don't know if this is 100 Thieves. I don't know if this is Oracle Elixir. I don't know. It's hard to tell, especially just based off screenshots. But he says, if you're thinking from the building piece by piece until it reaches championship contending level, do Maple and Mia seem like pieces towards that? Again, say TSM wins a championship in 2023, 2024, whatever. Does it seem like it's going to be because Maple or with Maple on the team? Does it seem like it's going to be because Mia or with Mia on the team? Papa Smithy just says no. And I think most people would agree with that. But he does give his opinion. He says no. He also then says, if you're thinking from holy moly, we let the fans down in spring, can we please get more wins in summer and make them happier? He says that he thinks this roster does that. If you're thinking from the idea that TSM are a big legacy org who always must be competing for top 1 and anything else is a disappointment, my impression is that's not what they are anymore. They're making the cheapest pivots to be at least a decent team. And I did want to just kind of pull up one more thing real quick. I think I have it on my Twitter, but that is obviously some very spicy kind of comments from Papa Smithy coming out there, and I did think that was overall pretty funny and pretty interesting that a lot of people have been sharing this take. Doublelift has said, hey, the team's going cheap, they don't really care anymore. It seems like Papa Smithy's saying, hey, these moves, they don't really seem like they're going for championship moves. They're maybe just trying to make some cheap pivots, or maybe just trying to make their fans a little bit happier, make the fans get off their back a little bit more until they can actually maybe do something in the future, or who knows what the future has in store for TSM. But again, this is kind of what most people are saying, that these don't seem like the old TSM moves, like when TSM had brought in like Sven and Smithy, or made kind of that type of moves to really try and improve the team in the short term and make moves that not only were going to help them potentially win LCS titles and stuff, but also maybe even go do damage at like international competitions and stuff like that. Does Maple make you more likely to do that? Does Mia make you do more? So I don't know. I really didn't think it was anything too crazy that Papa Smithy said. I think this is overall pretty general sentiment from what a lot of people are saying on the internet right now, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, all over the place. But this was so funny to me. The mods in the TSM subreddit, they posted this. They said, Papa Smithy stopped by the TSM court about an hour ago. He said some of his comments that got posted here are out of context and talked to people for a while to clear stuff up and gave some more thoughts. Absolutely hilarious. absolutely hilarious, taking this out of context meme and running with it. Now, I don't know if Papa Smithy was exactly talking about, these messages, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. And either way, hey, it is very, very possible that people are taking some of his messages out of context, trying to blow them out of proportions, all this stuff. But I just think it's super, super funny after I already had, the Tim stuff, where Tim Sevenheisen trying to call me out for taking stuff out of context and trying to, I don't even know, make Papa Smithy look bad or make people think he said things he didn't, whatever. That whole situation was weird. I think Tim was absolutely in the wrong. I think it was just really, really crazy and insane. And it's funny to see that this type of thing is happening again. So here is some of what they have also posted, to provide further context or whatever for this. Papa Smithy said, I'm getting copy and pasted into the Reddit out of context a lot. I know some of this is covered up. And obviously, you are the general manager or whatever his role is with 100 Thieves of one of the top teams in the LCS. You have a ton of inside information. You're saying a ton of things. You're saying them on a public kind of messaging forum where, if you say something interesting, if you say something spicy, people are going to cap it and they're going to share it. I don't think people are trying to manipulate what Papa Smithy's saying, in general. Obviously, there's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be extreme cases. But I think for the most part, people are you're going on Discord, seeing a message or two, and then being like, whoa, that's crazy. Whoa, that's spicy. Because we're in full offseason mode right now. We're in full rumor. We're in full speculation. And Papa Smithy, again, is a guy with a lot of inside information. He knows a lot of stuff. And he is giving some hot takes. He's kind of wanting, at least in my opinion, to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be engaging and interacting with the fans. And he's a fan of all this stuff too. And he wants to talk about it and all this stuff. But part of the downside of that is if you're going to go around talking about all this stuff and you're a public figure in public forums, obviously what you're saying is going to get taken. It's going to get spread around. And maybe it won't be, once somebody takes it and does whatever they're going to do with it, you don't have total control of the situation anymore, which is just totally normal. So, I don't know, kind of weird, because especially in this message, this is what, this is a full page of messages here. How much context do you want us to give? None of your messages can get shared or screenshot or anything unless there's 10 pages of context. We have to read half an hour of a conversation. I don't know. Seems really, really weird to me, but also thought it was hilarious that Papa Smithy is now picking up the context meme and kind of running with it. But again, sharing the rest of this, he said, so I thought it was worth coming to say hello. He said, I respect TSM a lot. One of the first people whose brains I picked about getting into being a GM was Parth. I also worked with Dunk. I think fans need to decide what they want out of TSM and measure it up to what they're getting. If they're not happy trying to ask for things within the framework, TSM can still become a great and powerful player in the league and probably do that quickly. So, all that stuff is true. And yes, fans should decide what they want. And I could see he's talking about that a little bit here. He gives a first scenario hey, if you want this, do these moves, do that. If you want this, but he is saying that, but he's also giving his opinions as well. He also said, I don't think this move does that. I think this move does that. Yes, you need the context of hey, he's just saying fans should pick a lane and pick what they want and run with it. But he's also sharing his thoughts and opinions, and that's what people are sharing. And I don't know. Obviously some people took it as him flaming Maple and Mia and saying they suck or whatever. So, he also did give his opinions on Mia, saying, hey, he learned under Mata from KT. I think I cast his debut game from memory. He says, good player, impressed in Champions Queue, good English. He also shares his thoughts and opinions on Maple. He said, classy, experienced player. I can't imagine him performing worse than Bjergsen in summer, which kind of maybe a weird shot at Bjergsen. I don't know. He says he thinks he will perform at a top 3 mid-level more often than not in NA. So overall, kind of weird. He's saying, hey, both Mia and Maple are good, but he doesn't see these as championship caliber moves for TSM. And just kind of sees it as them taking cheap budget pivots to, make the fans a little bit happier, a little bit off their back. I don't know. I know Travis also came out on Hotline League recently. That was a clip I was trying to find, but I couldn't pull it up real quick. I forgot to put it in here, but he was kind of flaming TSM, saying they're going cheap, saying they're, cutting some corners, saying they maybe don't care much about the LCS anymore, and that fans are just along for Andy's wild ride or whatever, no matter what's happening. So I don't know. I thought this was kind of weird and kind of interesting. Yes, Papa Smithy is saying all kinds of stuff out in the open on public forums. And honestly, this might be a hot take, but this is also something I want to talk about a little bit too. A lot of the things he's doing, a lot of the things he's saying, when he's talking about TSM and their players and sharing some of these thoughts and opinions, when he's talking about Spica and what he thinks Spica might do or could do into the future and all this stuff, it's maybe even a little bit inappropriate. Again, he is a general manager of a team talking about other organizations, other teams' players, people that are not under contract with him, which is walking a fine line of appropriateness or, whether or not you should be doing that. You don't see I don't think, at least, maybe I'm way wrong here, maybe I'm way off, but you don't see general managers of like traditional sport teams commenting on, the contract situations of other players and other teams out in the public very often, if ever. You don't really see people commenting on much things outside of their own teams, especially in a public forum, especially, partly because because your words can get taken, they can get twisted, they can get put out of context, they can get spread around to places you don't want to. Maybe you said something that you want to take back, or maybe it's just because, hey, you don't do that when you have inside information. You don't talk about other players, other teams, other contract situations, all this stuff. So, rather than, people like Tim trying to go after the people who are taking his comments out of context or whatever, maybe go at Papa Smithy and have him look in the mirror and be like, hey, is this something you really should be doing? Should you be publicly talking about some of the things you're talking about? Like, hey, I'm all in favor of it. Hey, I love it. Seeing this stuff, I think it's spicy. It gives us something to talk about. And like I said, I get it. Papa Smithy's a fan of this stuff. He wants to talk about it. He wants to interact. He wants to engage with fans. But I don't know. I still think it's of my opinion that probably the right thing to do is to talk about his players, his team, his organization. And if he wants to talk about people's contract situations or people's roster or whatever, talk about your own, which you probably won't do. So why are you doing that for other people? I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a gray area. I think it's walking a fine line. Not something we really see in other sports and traditional stuff. And I think it's for a very, very good reason. And again, I do put more of the blame and stuff on the people who, on like Papa Smithy and the people in that situation, than I do about the people taking his comments out of context, which I have not seen that much of. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm sure it does. But I don't think it did in this case. I don't think it did in the previous case with me. But overall, Papa Smithy definitely saying some interesting things about TSM. Again, some of the biggest comments here, I think they're making the cheapest pivots to be at least a decent team. Like I said, that's definitely what a lot of people in the community are saying right now. And also saying, hey, TSM maybe not making moves to build a championship contender. I don't know. Pretty spicy stuff from Papa Smithy there. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about all this. Do you think Papa Smithy's right in some of the stuff he's saying? Do you think, I don't know. What do you think about TSM? Do you think they are making cheap moves? Do you think that TSM really thinks that this is going to be a championship caliber team at some point down the line? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the first link in the description below for PrizePicks. Hopefully you guys, support them. Use that site. It's a really, really cool product. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.